about a preferred process for dealing with these things?
The language in the probation statement is the same as what we're talking about here. It says an amendment to the school's current lease to ensure that the school's landlords are bound by the school's obligations under its compliance plan, and any other remedial measures required by the AGO.
So Tony, why don't you and I work with Colin on this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how limited my time is, but just as long as I'm not, I'm happy to help wherever I can. But
yeah, this week.
I think it's a conference call. Okay. Anything else on number 1? Forwarding on. Number 2. Connie, do you have that? This update in there. Basically, legal counsel suggests the issues with regard to the Inspector General. The schools responded to every request the IG has made upon it and has offered to meet the IG to discuss any remaining concerns, but the IG has declined that offer.
And at this point, the Inspector General has responded, just indicating that he would like to have a meeting, and they are trying to seek a date that works for us, someone to meet with.
Who's the meeting with?
They've just asked to have a meeting with members of the board and to at some point visit the school. So
they're not going to give us a huge list with a week to go or anything, right?
Well, the Inspector General is not directly involved with the Commissioner's list other than here with this, and we've actually provided them with every piece of information, and the requests are voluntary, and we've met them voluntarily, and so I think we should be in good stead there. We've provided them with everything that they asked for. We haven't heard anything in response to that, other than for another request to come out. We are doing our best to be supportive of whatever it is they are seeking all this information for, which is not being identified. So we are being cooperative and working with them, and we'll continue to do that. We're also in the midst of our audit and grading period for students. We are actually a school, although you would hardly know it given where we're being asked to put our time. And certainly the YouTube history of the work this board's had to do, just in, responding to what you were saying earlier, Jordan. The amount of time we've been allowed to talk about anything to do with education, kids, learning, in terms of number 2, we are continuing to work with them, and we'll do that and do our best to find the time to meet with them in and amongst doing all these other things, which do actually include working with students, getting out reports to parents on how they're progressing and how things are going. That's where we are.
Okay. Number 3 is completed. Participation towards the procurement program. Number 4, you're working on still with a training on December 2nd. And the personnel offering of supplies, services and supplies, contracting in the year. Number 5.
That actually started today, but finishes on the 2nd.
On the 2nd. Okay. Budget was completed. Number 6, school leadership plan has been completed. Revised calendar, all that's been completed. 8 is ongoing, which is the reporting of the minutes, which Dave has maintained phenomenally well. 9 is about strengthening the board, which we continue to work on, but I feel like we have completely met the requests of the commissioner.
with our 2 board members who, by the way, I have not heard that they've been approved yet, but I don't think that's unusual. It's only been a week, and often it takes a while, so you haven't heard anything, Tony, have you? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, thank you very much. We had in trustee, actually, I'll let you talk about that, Tony, Sean O'Neill, who we had nominated to the board, had to withdraw.
Yeah, he did. He ended up in a conversation with the chair of his own board, and they were concerned about a possible conflict of interest in having, where they have a middle school or part of the middle school program there, and then go through high school. There's a possibility of a conflict of interest there. But he's, very sorry. It was very, met him. He was very excited about it. Was concerned that he was contacted by Peter Dolan, in this case, sending him a copy of the lawsuit for January, and encouraging him to think twice about whether he would participate with the school. But
that wasn't what deterred him.
It wasn't remotely.
It was his own board saying, sorry, this is a conflict.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
So anyways, that is a loss, but I do think we brought on 2 excellent board members, and as I understand it, actually, Jay, make your official report on the trustee committee. You want to make an official report? It sounds like there's still people out there that have been looked at.
Yeah, there are at least a couple people that are still good prospects, and we're getting board members and people to talk to them, and we'll have probably one or another, we hope, for the next meeting of the trustees committee.
Number 10 we completed, which was trainings of the board, open meeting and state ethics law, and public record law. On those lines, mass ethics law, there was a little test. It's not required, it's one of the requirements, but it was suggested, just for the board members who haven't done that yet, a little reminder to get that done to the next meeting. Some people have done it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I sent my name
You're
first.
set. You and me were, we got is. Yeah, no, I got
Is this that?
You dropped off last week.
No, I sent it to you by email.
Oh, I'll check.
Where's this from?
If not, because I don't have a printer, so.
Give it to Tony, he's keeping it.
Here.
Okay. So if you haven't done that yet, get that done, please. So on 11, I think this is about any changes. Sorry, I'm reading this as I'm looking at this.
Communicating with the charter school office in a timely way.
In a timely way. So that's ongoing. Changes in staff. Tony, have there been any changes in staff?
We are about to finalize the learning resource specialist. We've been working with this consulting firm in terms of a number of different possibilities in terms of candidates, and we've had one in now on a trial basis to see if that looked like a good match, and it does. So we're probably going to finalize that this week.
And any news on this is not, a program director is not a requirement of our 12-step program, but update on the program director.
We've had a couple of very good conversations, and hoping to have something finalized by the end of December, early in the new year.
So that's moving along.
Yeah, very much so. Some really strong candidates now posted, and so we've had some CVs coming in and some great interest, so I feel good about it.
I know there's been some conversation from the charter school office interest in what's happening, and I just want to say I appreciate the time, because I do want to say something about that. It's easy to find people to come on board, and it's easy to hire somebody into any position. So I appreciate that we've taken the time to bring on very high-quality board members, and taken the time to find the right fit for program director. And I know that the school is in need of that, but I think the time is important. So I understand the charter school office may be a little anxious about that, but hasty decisions don't make for necessarily great employees. So I think that's all good. Facilities.
That's why I think it's, I mean, just while we're there on that subject, I think it's a great credit to the board and the mission of the school, to the parents and students, because certainly with both the candidates who have now will be joining the board, one expected to start in December. That they're very excited. I think that they and that reflects extremely well. Sometimes I just can't believe that under the duress of this particular process, which we talked a lot about last week, but that even with that, these are really, I see what we're alluding to there, qualified, extremely experienced people who see something worth being a part of. And same with the candidates that we're seeing for director of program. I think that it's a great reflection that there's something really good about this and some potential for it to add to the dialogue in Gloucester, I think, and really fulfill the mission that was part of the dream. I think is absolutely there.
I think also these two candidates have been contacted by people who oppose the school personally, and that still hasn't, their conviction is very strong. And I think the recent Boston Globe article, which talked about Gloucester having the same, one of the highest percentages of students that leave the system, which we've known for a long time, and the need that I hear in the community all the time, which is a real appreciation, and I feel like it doesn't come out very much to many people, but I do hear questions about why are people opposing this school, and in fact the appreciation of starting